Hey guys, it's Caleb, welcome back. So in today's video I have another unusual fruit to be sharing with you. This is the Japanese raisin fruit. Very unusual, not very appetizing looking, but very keen and excited to be sharing this with you today. So the cool thing about these is that they're actually not a true fruit. They're actually a swollen receptacle or a swollen flower stalk. As you can see here, this is the flower stalk and this is the part you eat. And then over here, there's also these little green dots that are attached to the end of it. And these are, I guess, what you'd call the fruit because the seeds are inside there. But you don't eat that part at all, you just eat these swollen flower stalks. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And also, what's cool about it is they're actually, in a way, a little bit like strawberries because the red fleshed part of the strawberry, you know, the main part you eat, that's technically not a fruit either, similar to this. That's actually a swollen receptacle as well, which is basically holding onto the seeds. Because, you know, like strawberries have the seeds on the outside, kind of like this, the seeds are sort of right on the outside part of this flower stalk. I actually got these sent to me about a month ago, which is why, as you can see here, they are sort of a little bit shriveled looking. But when I first got them, they were a lot sort of fatter and fuller, and they looked a lot better than how they look now when they're all sort of shriveled up. But I did try them when they were sort of full and they were fresh. They had only just been harvested recently and they had kind of a nice flavor. It was sort of a bit like pear, but what I did find is that they sort of dried my mouth out. I don't know quite how to explain it, but it just had this drying sensation which I wasn't very keen on. So I decided to just leave them on my kitchen counter for, you know, about a month, and they've dried out quite nicely, a little bit like a dried fruit. So I thought I'd give it a try now and just see if it's sort of any different. I'm assuming it may have got a bit sweeter because it's sort of, you know, the moisture's gone out of it, or a lot of the moisture has. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove these little green parts here, and as I said, these have the seeds in them. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. So once I've removed these green parts, you can see there it just looks like a dried up old stick, but yeah, we'll give it a try anyway. That has definitely sweetened up a huge amount since I first tried it when they were fresh, and I don't get any of that drying feeling at all in my mouth, and it's very surprisingly sweet considering it's just like a dried up old piece of stick. But yeah, very interesting that it tastes just like a raisin. It really does. It tastes very similar to a raisin, and I'd almost compare it like a mixture of raisin and dates. Dates as well, you know, they're kind of, to me, almost sweeter than a raisin, and this as well tastes sweeter and kind of has more of the texture, a little bit like a date, I found anyway. So yeah, kind of cool. And I've heard that people do use these as an alternative to like raisins or other dried fruit. So, you know, lots of uses for them. And, you know, I just think it's cool to be able to possibly grow one of these and then, you know, give it to your friends or whatever and just show them that this is something you can eat. And it's just super interesting and such a novel type of, I guess, fruit. And for me personally, I preferred them when they were dried out as opposed to when they were, you know, fresh. As for the seed pods, they have this soft shell around them and it's pretty easy to tear open. And inside you'll find these little shiny brown seeds. And in each one of these seed pods there's usually 3 seeds I've found, sometimes just 2. And the coating of the seeds is actually really hard. You can see how sort of shiny it is. If you press on that, there's just no give in it at all. So in terms of growing these, one thing I've read is to actually scarify the seeds, which basically means just scarring that hard outer coating, and that way water can actually penetrate into the seed, which will encourage it to germinate. So I will have a go experimenting with a few things, and I'll make an update video on growing them from seed if I have some success, and I'll share with you guys what worked and what didn't. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you're subscribed and you have that notification bell clicked, and that way you won't miss out on that video. They do grow on quite a large tree that can go to about 10 meters or possibly even more, and they are very cold tolerant as well. But one thing to note is that while they're young, you really do need to protect them. I actually had one planted over here behind me. It was one of the first trees we planted on this place before the house was even here, and I didn't really give it a huge amount of protection, and we weren't living here to kind of keep an eye on it either. And what happened was that it put out nice fresh growth in the springtime and we got a late frost. And I think we also got some strong winds, and a combination of those things just completely killed the plant, and unfortunately, yeah, we lost it. So yeah, basically make sure if you do grow these trees, protect them while they're young, and then later on in life they will get a lot more cold tolerant. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching this video about these weird and wacky fruits, or dried fruits, or whatever you want to call them, not fruits, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more videos just like this one. And if you have any ideas of videos you want me to do, chuck them in the comments as well. I'd be keen to hear if you guys want me to grow or taste some unusual fruit. I'll have a go at that if I can. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.